second one, B, where he says he faces criminal proceedings in relation to 6 pending civil, commercial and family suits. Mr. Speaker, what has his family suits got to do with it, or civil suits? Mr. Speaker, when we were approving, because I was in the appointments committee, where we did with Honorable Opio Wandai and the others, and the minority whip, a majority leader, deputy majority leader, we did the vetting of the CS. And yes, he did say, yeah, he had those cases. But Mr. Speaker, those cases are in a court of law. So is he now bringing other things which are not related to fertilizer in his pleadings? Mr. Speaker, I think that is completely wrong. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, on the same page, he says that the Cabinet Secretary supplied misleading information. That one is in 1E, where 51 Capital Africa was given a contract which was signed by NCPB in the year 2022, when Honorable Mithika Linturi was not even the CS. So is he apportioning the blame for what was done in March 2022 to Honorable CS Linturi? I think Honorable Omboka and some of the members here have got a vendetta against the CS Linturi, because CS Linturi handles more than 100 sagas under his ministry, and he cannot be seen to be supervising each and every saga in his ministry, Mr. Speaker. When we say that we want now that CS Mithika Linturi to take the flake, and even what our minority leader has said, there was sabotage. Yes, there is sabotage of CS Mithika Linturi, because the bags which were found, and why haven't we even talked about MEMS Limited distributors? Who are the owners of MEMS? MEMS distributors, the majority owner is one Collins Ngetich, who is the majority owner. And Mr. Speaker, he is the one who had a case with CS Mithika Linturi, a civil case regarding Aticon. Mr. Speaker, when he is on the opposite side of the CS, definitely MEMS distributors are the ones culpable. They are the ones who have put those bad things in the fertilizer bags of KELS. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Omboka has said the CS tried to call KEL Chemicals Director, Kumar, more than 20 times. Mr. Speaker, I can be calling even the majority leader or even you, Mr. Speaker, and you may not pick my call. Even sometimes I call my friend here, Mheshimiwa Ronald Karaure, for more than 20 times. He doesn't pick my call. So what does it mean? Or when I talk to him, have they got records of what I talk to him about? So Mr. Speaker, you cannot be said that I called somebody for 20 times when you do not know what the conversation was about. It's a matter of conjecture that Honorable CS Mithika Linturi called KEL Chemicals Director. And KEL Chemicals have said more bags were supplied. So what happens to those bags is MEMS to tell us what exactly happens. So Mr. Speaker, this motion is not going anywhere. We are with the CS Linturi because he is not culpable. Let the culpable people be taken to court and let the Agriculture Committee finish its job. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I oppose.
Sabina Chege.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to speak on this. And Mr. Speaker, I'll speak as a member of Agricultural Committee. Mr. Speaker, we have encountered this story of fake fertilizer from the time it caught the attention of the committee and of this House. Mr. Speaker, many things have transpired and happened, and I would want just to highlight a few things that members should know. That the committee has summoned many of the mentioned people here, including the Cabinet Secretary, some of the business people. We have also gone to the ground. Last weekend we were in Kitale, and we also went to Eldoret. We've gone to Meru, Embu, and many parts of this country just to engage with the farmers. Mr. Speaker, for the records, it is important for the House to know that the total number of fertilizers that were distributed in the year 2023-2024 was around 4.8 million bags. And year 2023-2022, 4.8 again, Mr. Speaker. The first bunch that was distributed last year that had no question was procured by KNTC. And the bunch that Mr. Speaker has brought attention of around 3,000 bags, being of not good standard, I would call it fake, was distributed by NCPD. Mr. Speaker, NCPD is a parastatal that is ran by a CEO and is also ran by a board. And Mr. Speaker, when we were following this as a committee, how, Mr. Speaker, do we get a manufacturer by name MEMS being given a contract to distribute fertilizer that he had not produced before, approaches a company called Kel Chemicals and requests them to produce Kel Green, and the formula given, Kel Green goes to KEBS and also gets the approval. Mr. Speaker, after Kel Green gets the approval, they do the first 50,000 bags that were of good qualities. And when you spoke to the farmers were happy. But later, NCPD again, Mr. Speaker, gives a contract to the same company, MEMS, that is not a manufacturer, it is just a supplier and a distributor, to distribute extra 500,000. So what happened, Mr. Speaker? As a businessman, people became greedy. And so the total bags that were distributed and that were on record by Kel Chemicals, which is Kel Green, was 69,000 only, Mr. Speaker. And remember, we have around 4.8 million bags that has been distributed in this republic. And so, Mr. Speaker, I would like this House to ask itself, who is guilty? Mr. Speaker, we may be a bit emotional. We may be upset because for sure farmers are suffering, Mr. Speaker. That's the truth. It is also important for this House to know, Mr. Speaker, that there is one fertilizer, which is Kel Green, that was distributed through the government program. Then there is another fertilizer that is GPC that was done by a different company, which approached NCPD and requested them to distribute for them, not as a government program. This is where you saw, if people followed in the media, where some soil was mixed with some manure, and it was called organic fertilizer. So we have a chain here, Mr. Speaker. We have the NCPD, which is a distributor. We have KEBS. This specific Mr. Karaoke, who is the person behind the GPC fertilizer, when he asked him what he was supplying, he ashamedly told the committee to ask KEBS what he was supplying. So even himself, he didn't know what he was supplying to our farmers. Remember, this was not part of the government program. So, Mr. Speaker, as we prosecute this matter, and I have a lot of respect to my honorable member who brought this motion, I would ask honorable members to take time, allow the committee to bring a proper report on what happened. Because, Mr. Speaker, we have crooks as businessmen.